Hey guys, my name is Divya. I'm a doctor and I've been working in a management role with a healthcare company for a while. I recently took the SHRM exam, the SHRM-SCP exam, and cracked it. I've been doing a series of videos so as to help anyone out in case they are preparing for the exam, want to take the exam, or consider taking the exam. Speaking of considerations, one of the things one must consider before signing up for this exam is which exam to take. As we all know, there are two different exams offered by SHRM. One is the SCP exam and the other is the CP exam. So this question has been posted on the WhatsApp groups that I'm part of. And they've been asking as to which exam is right for them. Should they be taking the CP exam or should they be taking the SCP exam? So let's get right into it. I went through the SHRM website and a few other helpful websites and found a bunch of things. Who takes the SCP exam? If you're in a strategic role, formulating policies, formulating processes or policies based on metrics or performance metrics, ensuring that HR strategies are aligned with company strategies, or you have a whole bunch of HR operational folks that report to you and work with you in your team, then the SCP exam is right for you. Who would be taking a CP exam? A CP exam is right for someone who is in an operational HR role. So if you're an HR generalist or an HR executive with a primary focus on talent acquisition, then the CP exam is right for you. So the CP exam focuses on things, as I said, at the operational level. So you probably are primarily involved in employee engagement, payroll, day-to-day HR activities, or managing events for your company. If any of these sound familiar, then the CP exam is. I also wanted to take a minute to talk about passing percentages of these exams. So for the most part, the passing percentage of the SHRM-CP exam has been at about 70%, and the passing percentage of the SCP exam has been at about 50%. So 30% of the people who take the CP exam fail, and 70% pass, and 50% of the people who take the SCP exam fail, and 50% pass. In more recent times, the passing percentage of the SHRM exams has come down a little bit. For the SCP exam, it stands at about 41%, and for the CP exam, it stands at about 66%. I don't think that the lowering of the passing percentage should disappoint you in any way, because this is, according to me, is simply a pandemic effect. We are in the middle of a pandemic and we've been hit by the coronavirus, which has affected a lot of people all over the world. And I think that is the primary reason for the lowering of passing percentages of these tough professional exams. Another thing that one must look at before deciding which exam to take is the eligibility criteria. I've done an in-depth video. My previous video was about eligibility criteria, the application for the SHRM exam, and the actual exam fee. Please take a moment to look at that video if you already haven't. I'm going to leave it in the description box below so that it helps you out. It's important to look at eligibility criteria for an exam because you don't want to sign up for something that you're not eligible for. And SHRM does have very clear-cut criteria on which exam that you're eligible to take. The other thing that's important while deciding which exam to take is exam fee. We should consider costs when making our decisions. In this particular case, I think exam fee is somewhat irrelevant because both the CP exam and the SCP exam cost the same. It's the same amount of money that you're going to spend, so let's not have cost as a consideration in this case. Up until now, whatever I've mentioned in this video has been taken from either the SHRM website or other reputed websites that publish important statistics about HR exams or SHRM exams. So from now on begins the real video. It basically is the answer to which exam you should take. Should you take the SCP exam or should you take the CP exam? And here is my honest, truthful answer. If you are eligible to take the SCP exam, you might as well take it. I am not at all saying that the CP exam is in any way easier or lesser than the SCP exam. In fact, I'm saying exactly the opposite. When I was studying for the exam, I studied all the quizzes, all the material, took the quizzes at both the CP level and the SCP level, took the mock exams at the CP level and at the SCP level. Never once did I feel that the CP is in any way easier than the SCP or in any way harder. I think they're both the same level of difficulty and they both cover the exact same material. If that's the case, one might as well prepare and persuade SHRM to endorse all the years of experience that you already have. So if you have a larger number of years of experience, then I think the SCP exam is definitely for you. If you are not eligible to take the SCP exam and you only have the requirement criteria for the CP exam, then I totally leave the decision up to you. I do think it's worthwhile to have a certification under your belt, especially if your organization appreciates it, but it's up to you whether you want to take the CP exam or wait for a little while to become eligible for the SCP and then take it later. Once again, please don't be angry. I'm not saying SCP is better or CP is better. What I'm saying is SCP simply endorses a larger number of years of experience than the CP exam. I really hope that these videos are helping you in making your studying, your preparation and application for the SHRM better. Please take a moment and subscribe to my channel. It would really mean a lot to me. Thank you so much for watching.